So now here's the thing about Mozart.
We're going over the andante of the...
Even in my book, With Your Own Two Hands, I mention holding the bass notes on Alberti figures.
Oh.
And I've been criticized in the press by musicologists. When Mozart wants the notes held, he writes a double stem.
Right, one is dichotomized of
Did
tenor.
Beethoven ever write double stems on bass notes? No. Czerny says he held bass notes, even if it didn't notate it to be held. Mm-hmm. Chopin's pupils, one after the other. The master is always holding down bass notes that are
They
not
wrote it
written
that when
to
they
be
were...
held.
So Chopin held them down.
So all of them did. And I know that Bach did the same.
How developed was the pedal in those days?
They had the knee pedal.
So would that explain it?
So Mozart, you definitely played with pedal. There's no question. With the knee pedal.
Okay.
Right?
How does a knee pedal work? How did that work?
There were little discs here.
Oh my gosh.
And the original knee pedal, one lifted the dampers of the treble, and the other lifted the dampers of the bass. So they were able to pedal the bass without the treble.
Wow.
Or the treble without the bass.
How interesting.
Then there was another
so
one.
Is that how the sustain pedal came, the middle pedal came into effect? Where
Of course.
Right.
The right pedal now lifts all the dampers.
Right.
Then they had the left disc pulled the hammers closer to the strings. It was a soft pedal.
Wow.
So they even had that. Now, so look here.
So they did have things.
Here's the G minor quartet of Mozart.
Is that
the piano quartet?
Yeah, I know. Bum, 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 beat up, bum.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Here's a figure in the left hand.
Right. Dominant.
What do you think a cello is doing? The cello is playing in gorgeous quarter notes. He's hearing everything.
It's the fundamental bass.
He's hearing everything orchestrally.
Right.
You think he's going to bother? He didn't even write crescendo or diminuendo many times. You think he's going to bother to put double stems? Sheer nonsense.
Right.
So I hear pianists and teachers teaching this.
Right. I love that one. G major. Okay.
So it sounds dry.
Okay.
So then they try...
Pedal off. Pedal off. Pedal off.
Then it ruins everything.
It does, in a way.
So now you listen to this.
That's what you do. That sounds right. It's amazing, Seymour, that it sounds right. It sounds right.
Finger pedaling. No pedal at all in this place.
So you're going to do it here too.
Look at this.
You're going to do it here too.
This is a standard case where when there's 4 bars that make up a melody,
right, 4 and 4.
The third one gets it. The third one gets the climax.
Let me hear what you're doing.
2.
Well, this is, I call it intensify.
3.
Intensify, I would say to my students, right? Diminished,
4.
resolved.
Same here.
Dominant. No, I see what you're saying.
2.
Here comes now. Lean.
3.
Right.
Anyway, see the bass.
I have a question there, Seymour. The way that's written.
What? This?
I took that kind of literally. Ta-yam, pa. No, you would go right across. on the slur?
Oh, here we go.
No, but I just get thrown off by the notation because I might, as a violinist, take a new bow on that B, but come in soft.
Here we go. You're a violinist.
I play violin, so I bring it. It's like a cross fertilization.
Okay, so now you listen. If you're a violinist. You would never play like this.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
You would go. So when I give a lecture on slurs, I ask for a high school violinist who can just read notes. No training. I mean, no advance going through, and I put the melody in front of them, and they go without thinking.
Right.
Slur means to change the bow.
Right.
Isn't that what the slur means in a violin player?
Yeah, you knew slur.
Well, the slurs in Mozart came from his father, who was a violinist.
Right, or a singer, you could say, with the breath of the
But
line.
mostly from his father.
I agree. The violin.
So whether or not you detach the last note of a slur depends on what you're playing.
Okay.
It is now the real meaning of a slur. Let's take a two-note slur.
Right.
What does a two-note slur mean? The second note is softer.
Right, like a Rameau.
No way. The only definition that appears of a two-note slur is legato. Whether the second note is the same as the first, more than the first, less than the first, whether it's connected to the next slur or just going to, it depends on what you're playing and where it is.
Of course, like Rameau, there was the French slurs of two,
But I was taught
right?
as a little boy, you get to the end of a slur, pick up your hand.
Right.
It's absolutely wrong.
But you're right, Seymour. We could see groups of two, as long, you don't have to lift your hand, but you could still breathe in twos with going over to the four. In the twos.
But not to make a gulp of air between.
Okay.
So see, I wouldn't. You wouldn't do this, would you?
Obviously not.
Well, that's the end of a slur. So this.
But it's resolving to the.
I do this. Change the bow.
But you know what you did? You did a color change on the B anyway.
Of course.
Right. So that to me is still reflective of the notation because you're just taking that notation, but you're dipping.
Making a little retard.
Right, I agree with that.
And I'm playing, and it's slurred, so I'm making it rotational.
Okay, agreed.
And not
pokies. No, right, I agree with that. Because a violin would do that.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. Now this I think of as a variation of the first, I always say variation, right? I like that, what you did there with the A.
You do that.
Right. I call that the little loopy curves. Okay. The curve around.
So now this is really very interesting. Wait a minute, let me find it. This guy who never notated anything in detail, right? He spared nothing when it came to rhythm. So, in this,
love that.
Right? In that sonata,
yeah,
in the second movement, I was playing one day about 20 years ago, and I let out a scream. I thought I was going to have to get dispossessed from my apartment.
Oh, no.
I just found the secret of life.
Wow.
The secret, because it's always been confounding to me whether to make a break between slurs or not.
Right.
See this? See, my teacher, when I studied this, made me do this.
Make a break.
And this. Right? And look at this. My teacher made me do this.
Break every 4. But that doesn't sound right. Because would a singer do that? But a singer wouldn't do that.
No.
It would be very breathy.
But that's what most early classical players do that.
Right. I don't care for that kind of Mozart at all.
So where did I find the secret of life? I'm going to show you.
Okay.
So I'm playing away. I've played this all my life.
Right.
This is about 20 years ago. And I come to this measure and I went, oh my God, I found the secret of life. He says, now would you please separate the slurs?
Now he says it. So if you did it before, it wouldn't make sense.
He wrote out a 30-second note rest. Who would ever do anything like that? Look at this.
To be so precise.
Look at this. The bass is going to be held.
Okay. But I could hear the violin doing that.
Now don't change.
Variation.
Now don't separate.
Right.
I didn't put a rest. Don't separate. Don't separate. Nothing is separated.
Because now he tells you that.
Until he writes those rests. So you can see why I said, oh my goodness, I discovered the secret of life.
Okay, now play it the way you're going to interpret the line in question with the slurs of 4 back there in that phrase. Let's hear it now.
Excuse me, but I'm going to use my foot.
Okay. Nice. I like that.
Retard? You see, Beethoven told Czerny, every time I write a fermata in my music, always make a retard toward it, even when I don't indicate it.
Okay.
If Beethoven did this, I'm thinking, all the masters were similar.
They were
all
influenced.
deeply musical.
Right.
So I just wanted to be clear about that, about the slurs.
Now going back to the G major that we started with.
This?
Yeah. Question answer.
What?
There's a question up in the air and an answer resolution.
Oh, you had a question?
No, I meant just how you played that. It was wonderful. Question, answer, kind of parallel period. It was very
now
nice.
we come to downbeats, right?
Right.
You know that there are downbeaters and upbeaters. So the downbeaters are always going...
You know what I was going to say? Seymour?
With the body.
You know what the problem with most pianists are? Every time they come to a downbeat, no matter what the music says, they emphasize it.
Well, that's what I'm talking
Right,
about. Well, those are downbeaters.
Right.
So the upbeaters are the poetic people.
Of course.
And they will never go to a downbeat.
Right. It should be up. It should be up.
And they have a little gesture
Up.
like this. Yeah. Well, you can't be a downbeater and an upbeater consistently.
All the time. You have to mix it up.
Yeah. So now, see, no downbeat. Now here, once again, this prince of music is giving us a message, and most people don't realize what this message means. Do you see on the 5th bar there's a forte piano?
Uh-huh.
He's saying, now would you please go to the downbeat?
Yes.
But don't accent the others.
Because the
don't
other
do
FP.
this.
Yeah, of course not.
But
Up. Up. Answer. Right.
now,
Of course.
right,
Of
and
course,
now
of
go
course.
to the down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But most musicians don't. They don't see the handwriting on the wall. There are messages. Shall I show you another message? This is unknown. What I'm going to tell you. You see the wedges?
With those little, everyone wants to know the difference between portato marks, those kind of marks, and accent marks. Because we don't see the real accent marks in Mozart, do we?
No, this is not accent
What is that?
or portato.
Neither.
It's not.
Right,
Neither.
right.
This is a form of staccato,
Okay.
and this is a form of staccato, the dots.
Yeah, you have the dots, and then you have those pointy-looking ones.
Yeah, the wedges
Right,
are
the
those
wedges.
pointy-looking
Right.
ones.
A lot of piano teachers discuss amongst each other how to execute a portato versus that kind of marking versus an accent kind of marking.
No, but it's not portato.
No, portamento. The portamento, like from the string player.
Portato.
Portato, right.
Portato
Where you
is
have
the
the-
slur and the dot.
Yeah.
That's always with the
What about the
pedal.
horizontal line over the
No, those are tenuto signs.
tenuto?
Here, see these dots?
Yeah,
Okay. Now we're going to go to Badura Skoda's
Badura-Skoda.
book, his interpretation of Mozart
Right.
that he wrote with his wife,
Sure.
who's
Oh,
a
his wife?
musicologist,
Oh,
Eva Badura
I
Skoda.
didn't know that.
And he has a whole chapter on wedges.
Oh my God.
He says, you see, if you look in the dictionary, it says that the wedge is a sharper, shorter staccato
Right.
than that.
That's what I would think.
So Badura Skoda said, oh yeah? Well then what is a wedge doing on a string part in the Jupiter Symphony on a tied whole note? So he says in that case, a violinist would go like this. Bum,
Right. That's what
like
we
a
would
little
do.
forte piano.
Right. You make a little cut on the
Okay.
string.
And then by the time you get to the end of the chapter, you have no idea what a wedge means. He never tells us. I don't think he knows himself. What is the difference between these and these?
One with just plain dots.
Yeah. So one day I had enough of this dilemma, and I started with Mozart Sonata Number 1, and I just put myself in neutral.
Are you talking about the famous C major sonata? or-
No, the first one.
Which one is that? The very first. Oh yeah.
This one.
Okay. Yeah, the other C major. Okay. Yeah.
So I started to read through, and I just wanted to see what I would instinctively do when I saw these
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah.
So I concluded the following. Mozart was a master pianist, a keyboard virtuoso. He left practically nothing, right, in his
Right.
music?
Right.
He wrote down choreographic signs. And
That's
I discovered that whenever I saw the wedge, I went like this. See this?
Yeah, the wedge.
With arm
Yeah, use your
pressure.
arm and wrist supple.
And when I saw the dots, I went like this.
Shorter.
Just light
Shorter.
fingers.
Right.
Right? Instead of
Right. Those are the wedges.
my arm. So I decided that he actually wrote out these choreographic gestures. The wedges mean more arm pressure, and the dots are lighter finger staccato.
But what about if he had the tenuto marks?
Tenuto sign means, see, one day I looked it up in the dictionary, and a tenuto sign has 3 meanings. Hold the note for its full value, hold the note beyond its full value,
Right.
or accent.
Right. 3 possibilities.
So it's usually a composer puts a tenuto sign when he wants you to emphasize the note by holding it for its full value.